Welcome to my sharing session on the art of visionary leadership. I'm Hussein Osman, author Mahathir, The Art of Political Leadership. This video presentation is the fourth of 10 series in part 1 that based on chapter 2 of my book. In this series, I will discuss the topic problems as the source for leadership learning. As we have discussed in the previous video, Mahathir considered leadership as a learning process. He is truly the best leader who thinks himself as a student, as Simon Sinek once observes. Leadership is an education, and the best leaders think of themselves as students, not the teachers. Mahathir has been applying a problem-based leadership learning as a practice in medical studies since his early days in politics. He said in his memoir, A Doctor in the House, "My training as a doctor also helped me to approach problems in a rigorously methodical and logical manner, another skill that would help me in politics." He used to say, "I was a politician first who became a doctor." In medicine, when you have a problem, you go into the history, do some physical examination, X-ray and diagnose the disease and give treatment. In politics, it is the same. Administration is also the same. You have a problem, you get to the origins, the problem's history, look at what contributed to the problem, the nature of it, and prescribe the medicine for it. This statement explains that medicine is the foundation of his political leadership. It also pointed towards the diagnostic process of approaching problems both in medicine and politics. This is part of the problem-based learning application as practiced in medical training and education. This statement is strongly backed by other observations and studies by scholars and researchers. We have the findings of the late Professor Ahmad Fauzi Muhammad Basri, who discovered that Mahathir had been applying medical anesthetic treatments in his political leadership. He said Dr. Mahathir performed a series of political surgical operations in the party and government. For instance, facing Musa Hitam's opposition before the 1987 UMNO election, he applied this political medical surgical procedure. Initially, he injected a so-called anesthetic in order to damage Musa Hitam's strengths in the cabinet. Second, we have the late Professor Michael Leifer, who said that it may be that his medical training as well as his personality has been a factor in shaping a political style that brooks no opposition to his diagnosis and prescription. His sense of rectitude in telling Malaysians that they should swallow the equivalent of so many pills a day in their own interest conjures up the image of medical infallibility translated to politics. Dr. Ong Hein Teck, who wrote, "Throughout his political career, Dr. Mahathir behaved as the ever-diligent medical doctor, constantly studying the symptoms to diagnose the cause of the ills in his community and the community. In his community and the country, before proceeding to prescribe the correct treatment to restore good health." In medical studies and some other discipline areas, problem-based learning or PBL is one of the major learning approaches established since the 70s in Canada, Europe, and the United States. It is a form of active and student-centered learning approach powered and triggered by problems. The use of problems in learning is not a new thing. It was already there since the first day of our learning, both in school and in life. However, we should be able to differentiate between the approach of using a problem as a base for learning and the approach of using a problem as an accessory or decoration to complete the cycle of learning. Traditional or conventional teaching and learning regard the problem as an accessory and complementary to the learning. As shown in the figure, the problem in conventional learning commonly presented at the end of the learning process to test the student's memory and talk skill. Even if we introduce some reflective learning activities, they will only reflect on their memory and talk skills. Whereas in PBL, the problem is considered as the base for learning. The real-world problem will be designed into the authentic problem and presented to the students for them to start the diagnostic and inquiry process. The diagnostic or inquiry process is very essential, as Mahathir had explained previously. Having concluded the diagnostic and inquiry process, the students then move to the self-directed learning phase to explore the learning issues discovered during the diagnostic and inquiry process, as well as to learn new skills. They are expected to master both the content and the skills. One of the most crucial learning processes in PBL that does not properly and widely used in the traditional learning is reflective learning. This learning process is very essential for students to strengthen their learning mastery as well as the skills of lifelong learning. It completes the learning cycle in PBL. When Mahathir said, "In a doctor in the house," my training as a doctor also helped me to approach problems in a rigorously methodical and logical manner. Another skill that would help me in politics, he was obviously referring to the importance of welcoming the problems as the base for learning. Always consider problems as opportunities for learning, not the stumbling blocks that are suppressing and stopping us from learning. We will be discussing in details how Mahathir approached to the problems in his leadership learning in the next videos. Again, I would strongly recommend you to get a copy of the book to learn more about Mahathir's problem-based approach in his leadership learning. To get the copy of the book and further information on our leadership training program, please click the links in the description below. To get the notification on my next videos, please subscribe, like and share this channel. Till then, thank you and have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.